Yeah, just a friend of mine, like,
Sorry,
you,
yeah.
yeah, just was, um, yeah, just had a weird interaction with a friend of mine, and it's kind of, it's one of those things that like gives you, it's draining, like it's now in my mind, it's in the back of my mind. So now I got like this fogginess and this back of my mind shit going on. It's like really taking over
Mm,
more than it should.
okay.
So yeah, but I mean, also maybe going to bed late and working on music till late hours. Life could be worse.
Just keep it
But
balanced, man. Keep it balanced.
yeah, well, I think that's the key. I actually turned down some work
Oh,
to focus on some music. It was a difficult thing to do because
yeah.
the pay was going to be. I mean, I might still get involved with the project, but on a lesser basis or something. But I basically called the guy and said, like, yeah, I mean, I'm interested in the work, but I can't do it. And yeah, it's a significant sacrifice to try and like chase down some music work,
Mm,
which actually I was just thinking with regards to these meetings. I mean, I think that as we go forward, I think we've had a good patch of like a good few runs where we've kind of gone over like sort of disparate topics and
mm,
kind of started centering on a few things. Uh, you know, I think it would be helpful to figure out like maybe what would be beneficial for people that we can almost like not prepare but like expect a certain thing every week, or
mm.
sorry, every time. And
Yeah,
maybe
good.
one of those things, like you've got the doc there where you're like sharing certain content. I think that's one important thing. Maybe like personally for me, what would be really interesting is talking about like looking at a topic. If somebody has knowledge about specifically driving revenue as a musician, and it could
Mm.
be, I've just checked out, like you were looking at, what was it? You said you were just checking out recently the ebook stuff, so
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
maybe sharing a few links, like, and saying, hey, ebooks, this is what you need to like, this is what you need to check out. And if we have a resource where we can almost take these chats and put them into, I don't know, a sheet or a board or something where it's like,
Cool.
fuck, I need to earn some, I need to find revenue that suits me or that I'm interested in. And I can go there and say, oh, okay, cool, ebooks. Oh, I never thought about
Cool.
that. Here's a couple of links and a couple of things. And
Great.
yeah,
Yeah.
just share knowledge that way on, and it doesn't have to be revenue, it could be marketing, or it could be even stuff on technical stuff or whatever. But that we kind of like record that somewhere somehow, so that we kind of like grow a bit of a pool of knowledge. I think that
Great.
that would really help.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
So I've started a sheet. I've started a tab called topics, and I've got, okay, revenue streams is the most popular thing. So that's the big question. How do I make money from my creative work? I want to, and like you said, get more specific. We have, there is a lot of shooting the shit in these chats, but I would also like there to be a sense of, even though you don't know who we are personally on a personal level, you still feel engaged in the conversation. That's the most important thing
yeah,
for me. And so we're
yeah,
looking, we're not looking to serve, people who are in their 60s who want to become rock stars and plan to do so by playing blues on the weekend. That's not. We're looking at people specifically who are online and who have a grasp of what it means to start a YouTube channel and who are younger. So basically, I'm looking to serve people younger than me. This is at least one part mentorship. I'm not getting, I'm not doing this to get anything out of it. The natural
yeah,
byproduct of us continually showing up every 2 weeks like we do and helping each other. The natural byproduct of that is that we all, like you've just made a great suggestion, get more specific with topics for the week. So I can immediately get on that. What I'll do is for next week's session, which is the 21st, Tuesday the 21st, I'll bring up this topic of revenue streams, and I'll do that split that I did before. Like on the one hand, you have renting your time, and on the other hand, you have earning more passively through intellectual property. I'll bring that up, and we can focus on, one question we could ask is, hands up, who has ever earned anything from money? And then the subtopic, what did you earn it from? Was it a live performance? Was it a merch sale? Was it a da 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 da? And to start to like really have a very broad view of how much is being earned as a musician in Cape Town who's performing, let's say, twice a month and puts on average 6 hours of work into their stuff every week, and to start to quantify it and to create some sort of playbook for like younger musicians who are asking like, how can I make money? You're like, all right, well, here's the stats. If if you put
Yeah.
6 to 8 hours of your stuff in a week, you can expect to earn $20 an hour, whatever. That's useful. Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
Any
maybe
other
also
topics? Suggestions for topics?
topics. Yeah, I think what would be cool is if maybe as part of like a way of getting to know each other as well, and especially with as new guys come in, is maybe have like a maybe some challenges. Like if someone's got something that they need to ask the group, like I asked about the Ableton stuff, which yeah, I'm super. I've now got some stuff to check out, which is great. Maybe also like have a go around where we can maybe give like a a like a self props kind of thing, like anything that you did in the last 2 weeks that was like cool, like I made myself breakfast, Brad,
Awesome.
like whatever.
Yeah.
It's just always it's a nice thing. We don't do that enough for ourselves, and then that's how you get to know people. Like, oh, you worked on this thing. Oh, it could be. There's so much that you can learn about someone just by the stuff that they're cool. Like breakfast.
So I'm going to say the format of each show could be, or each session could be, recent challenges, which we can begin with that. So you offload. The first thing you do when you get here is you offload, and you're like, all right, I've got this shit I've been dealing with. I'm here because this is a type of support, and how can we crowdsource some solutions or whatever. And then self promotion. Yeah, what have you done in the last 2 weeks?
Well, a brag session.
Yeah, a brag session. I'll try not to take up all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. It's nice. It's a nice way. Yeah, I dig that shit.
How about this? Let me show you what I've got so far. Zoom picture in picture. Boom. All right, kids, how does that look? We've got recent challenges, self-promotion, that's under format, and then topics, revenue streams.
Marketing.
Say what?
Marketing.
Marketing, how to market your music. All right, good. Resources. I'm going to start one here called resources. And
that's nice, yeah.
Shared drive folder packed with. So we've got the resources tab on this sheet, somewhere like here. Show reels or resources. We'll add that to there so everybody can have a sense of what everyone else is doing. Yeah.
Have you got a link for that sheet?
Yes, sorry. Let me share that with you guys. It should be editable by anyone. Please don't delete it all.
Okay. Does anyone use Microsoft OneNote, by the way?
No. I remember you tried to get me on it years ago.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, I've carried on with it, and it's basically, when I teach people and stuff, that I use it as, I put all of my notes in here, right? So I mean, if I could share that link, it's pretty much the same kind of thing. It's just the format is not a thing. So, and that kind of just makes it flexible to, for a group of people to add to notes and stuff, right? I'm not just saying like we should change a format. It's just, I think maybe I will share, because I mean, I've got stuff on music theory, music business, performance, like as well, like when I was trying to set up my whole native instruments sort of rig as well, like all the sort of coding things and all the tech issues that sort of happen there. So, things like that, right? So what's that, like 5 notebooks, I think? And then, just feel free to add to it. I mean, look, obviously don't share it because it's like, it obviously took a crap load of time, but
sounds like you need to definitely. You should publish an ebook of that. Let me take a look at it, and I'll give you a roadmap on how to get that stuff selling. Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Thanks.
Cool. So and it goes without saying, don't just share resources just because you have access to them. Like you can ask permission. I put a copy. I don't mind if you share this thing. I put a copy of the book, the podcast book I just wrote in the chat.
Cool. Yeah, downloaded it. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Just if you only read one chapter, read the one called "What Do People Share." That's like at the heart of it. You don't need to know the technical stuff, but read that. That's the one that encapsulates the message.
Well, it's the psychology of it, right? So I mean, it's quite well, it's good to know. Because a lot of the time it motivates as well. So yeah, I'm quite keen to check that out.
Yeah, to me, it's just stuff that like I don't find people talking about, and it kind of makes me feel sometimes a bit stupid because I'm like, but this totally makes sense. It totally makes sense when you look at people's behavior. Like the average person, if you look at go to the next time you're in the queue, just look at what people are looking at on their phone. Okay, you're bored, you're a pervert, whatever. Just view other people's behavior with their phone, and it's all about kids, photos, and pets on WhatsApp. It's that specific. I think probably about 50% of the time, it's people scrolling WhatsApp and looking at photos of family members and kids. So this is what we're doing with the tech. This is what thrills us. This is what people are looking at when they're bored or whatever, or share. That, and of course memes. So, understanding these new behaviors is at the heart of marketing your own music. It's understanding what is it that sets people's hearts on fire, and that is an act of empathy. What is it that people really want, really, really are desiring, not something that they're going to now react to as if like, this is another piece of noise that I have to filter out. Do you, as a professional, have the ability to make that? You might impress someone by creating something that is cool and that they've seen before. And I just feel that there's an opportunity for us to go deeper. Say, okay, well, I know this is unusual, but for example, I'm getting good results now with something that I don't see anybody else doing, which is writing very corny. Okay, not these things aren't going to make the hit parade or anything.
Sorry.
That little intro tunes for Twitch. Actually, I can play you one now. Give me a sec, I'll play you one. It's really like for streamers who are about to go live. They normally have that like that screen that's like the stream is starting soon. Like that's when you see a gamer or something is about to go live in 15 minutes. There's a countdown on the screen going starting soon, and there's always generic music there. It's always just something they've yanked off YouTube. Whereas I thought, what if you had somebody singing the name of their channel? And so some kind of audio branding, like a little mini commercial before the show. So I've started just putting feelers out there for this type of stuff. Just listen to this shit. Now, you just listen to this and just understand the level of specificness that I'm working with here and how like dumb it's going to seem to everybody, except for the people who like it, who are going to be absolutely thrilled by it. This is 1 minute. Oh wait, hang on. Wrong one. Here we go.
This is actually your private. This is your private EP,
Private EP. It's very public. Actually, it's everywhere. It's on YouTube. It's everywhere. Sorry, guys. Just
I'm saying that particular song.
Yeah. Private session. Oh shit. This is my channel. Listen to the shit. Hello. Working up to a stream. Welcome. This is my channel. That's so dumb. It's like, good to see you. Working up to a stream. This is my channel. Welcome. Full spaz alert. Up to a stream. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so it's obviously a joke. Okay, it's obviously a joke, but I have so much fun making this, and then people who like this stuff love it, and that's what it's about. It's getting really specific. Awesome. You know what I mean? 99% of people are not going to do this, but you know what? 99% of people have not heard of some of the most successful people in the world, because it turns out that 3 billion of internet users is a cuck ton of people. So you no longer need to own that majority of the market of the internet in order to make a very good living out of it. You can be somebody that no one has ever heard of for anything, that no one has ever met, anyone who's ever heard of, and still be a multimillionaire. That's the age that we're living in, because you only have to connect with 1,000 people who are paying $1,000 each, and that is your minimum viable audience. That's what I'm aiming to do here. I'm aiming to slowly find the people who are thrilled enough by this stuff. I'm not aiming for so you know me, I go on a lot about my work a lot, but that should give you some indication of like what it looks like to do the type of thing that I'm trying to, elucidate here. I'm trying to raise the bar here. That's what it looks like. It looks that dumb. And it's also fun. It's a good way to spend your time. Yeah, cool. So yeah, that's on YouTube, and then there's links to the store, and then people go and they download it, and that's where these sales come from, you know. So I want to encourage you guys to think like that, not to try and imitate necessarily, unless it's like this is a parody thing. I'm imitating trap music, and you know that's like a, kind of a joke. But don't try too hard to like develop your own voice or follow your dreams or any of that rubbish advice. The advice I have is be a professional, and authenticity is overrated. People are not there to see what you like. They're not there to think to pay for what you think is funny. The only reason that someone's going to pay for this is because they think they are going to get status from showing it on their stream. It's got nothing to do with me. There's no obligation to me whatsoever. So think about putting all of that shit right in front of their noses and going, hey man, you could be the toast of the town for $30. That's called being a professional. It's got nothing to do with you and your work and your motivations and your emotions. I still read these band bios like, you know, this band touches the depths of the heart and the soul and all this stuff, and it's just so typical, you know. You know what I mean? Like, I want to read a band bio that's like, you know, so and so's father started, I don't know, just something that actually shows us the story of who they are, rather than like, you know, trying to fit into the box, if that makes sense. I don't know if that was very clear, but yeah, get specific. That's the message. Yeah.
Yeah. You just excuse me for a minute.
Yeah, sure. Cool. You guys want to hear another one of those?
Yeah, I wanted to say that chord on the guitar, it's very Bono, man, like 70s Bono.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that was kind of supposed to go, yeah, that wah wah sound, yeah.
Is it wah?
Yeah, wah guitar is a very quick way to summon up
exactly.
Adult behavior, yeah.
And freaking brass as well. Like, it has to be sax. I suppose that's the 80s, right? Like any movie in the 80s had like freaking had overload of sax.
Yeah, and a lot of the time it was just, you know, MIDI sampled keyboard sax, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what made it even worse. It was freaking terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. We're seeing the link here. I'm going through your PDF, man. That's quite a few topics. That's like it's almost like an overall manual, right? Just
Yeah,
I mean, even down below, you wrote about compression. I see. I'm just going through your contents.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, so even just yeah, it's quite broad, man.
There you go. This is what Ross is looking at. I'm in the process of launching this book for $15 on Gumroad. I've got a guide to help with the layout. But it's more complicated than it seems. Like, I didn't realize how much stuff. Like, for example, I'll give you a heads up. Stuff like this. This is just one app. This is the my default browser app, which is basically Chrome. And you can see, like, for example, the page numbers here, the margins on the right and the left are alternating, and then there's layout stuff. Like, these should be links, you know, actual links. And I just thought you just exported it from Word and uploaded it to Amazon, but it turns out there's this whole middle section. So I'm learning how to do this, and then I can pass on that information as I go. It's just not as simple as I thought. I mean, you could probably get away with it, publishing a book just like what they call an EPUB file, which is the Amazon format. It's not a doc file or a docx file. It's specific to mobile readers like Kindles and phones and stuff. So when you adapt the text and the contents of a book from one format to another, then all sorts of weird shit happens. Like, if you haven't stipulated that there should be a page break after this, then this overview will just end up over here at the top. And so you need to actually say that. Then there's stuff with page numbers, like the index over here, like page 20. Yeah, sure, it's page 20 on a PDF, but on a small screen, you can only fit this much text on a screen. So now this whole thing is page 1, and that's page 2. And that's already on page 3. And by the time you get to page 90, it's actually, you know what I'm saying? So there's formatting stuff. But
yeah, that's sorry?
No, let me get up to speed before I carry on with that.
No, cool. Well, that's that thing about OneNote that I was saying, right? So like all of that is great that you're able to do that. But like the formatting part of things, I just didn't end up like exporting a lot of things just because like bloody hell, it takes that extra amount of time to do that. So the OneNote format, I think, they got the different devices done pretty well, but yeah, I mean, if I send that to you and then you'd be able to convert it to that. It's pretty much the same thing. So like, that's what I was saying about the topics that you're going through there. I just have the unorganized version of that. You know what I mean? So all of my research that I've just put in, and I haven't just bothered writing it or making it sound good, sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's cool, man. Like, hopefully, well, your second edition, you can grab some
Exactly.
extra from my stuff as well. Cool.
Dude, iteration is key to this
Mm.
because it's digital. We can iterate. You don't have to think of it like now it's a book and it costs a lot to print 10,000 copies. You can just say, this is version 1. Okay, sales are bad. I'm going to take a bit of feedback. I heard some people who read it for free said that I should include something about best podcast hosts. So now I know, okay, so I'll include that in version 2, send an update, say, hey, version 2 includes this new chapter everyone was asking for. Then you take feedback and that way you're serving the community instead of trying to force your product onto people by marketing it through repetition and paid ads and stuff. You're actually a person that becomes more like a jukebox. You're like, okay, I know this stuff. Tell me what you want to hear. Okay, great. There you go. And that's what people pay for. And that's what people pay for. And they are increasingly not paying for all of the alternatives because this is so much better. It's so much better to have someone, literally an expert who's like literally at the beck and call of the community that you're a part of, who shows up and says, yeah, here's the new stuff, you asked for it, boom. That, and it doesn't cost anything to reproduce. So all of the people who bought iteration 1 can then get iteration 2 for free because they're the early adopters and they get rewarded for it. And then they go, this is great, I'm getting all of this new stuff for free. And then they tell people, and then version 3 comes along and they're even more excited. This is how we do it. This is how we should be doing it.
Cool.
Yeah, like I feel like these chats, I get so excited and end up just carrying on and on about all this cool stuff I'm learning, and I feel like a sense of duty and like compelled to share it with you. But I also feel like I just talk way too damn much at these things.
No,
That's all good, dude. I mean,
it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's from my perspective, it's nice because I mean, I'm transitioning into some more music income and I've just come off a big job and, as I said, turn down this other work. So like it's getting into it, so hopefully I'll also be picking up some knowledge to share. I mean, I wouldn't feel too bad about it. Maybe what we could also do is like have people prepare some stuff, just like 10 minutes on a topic. I'm also, just as you're talking about like podcasting and things like that, or ebooks, I'm like, what are my areas of expertise?
Yes. What a great question. What a great question for every person to ask. What is my area of expertise? That's a great question.
And it can be tricky because sometimes we don't give ourselves enough props, so we're like, oh, nothing, and someone's like, yeah, but you're really good at this thing. You're like, oh, not that great, whereas you might actually, but you're good enough to impart knowledge or be of a benefit to somebody else. So I mean, it might be worthwhile also if it's a good proving ground as well. Here is like, I mean, this community is going to be like wanting to lap up related topics. So somebody comes and prepares like 10 minutes just to see, can I impart some knowledge? And then if it kicks off, then you can turn that into the right kind of income or revenue generating resources, And if somebody else here has a lot of knowledge, there could be a partnership or something. I mean, I think that would really quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the hope here is that you guys, you meet Jack Ludick, you listen to his stuff, you know that there's a guy living in Sea Point who can compose this amount of stuff. You know that he's 21, so he's not going to charge the top dollar. Sorry, no offense, Jack, but that's just how it works. So now you're able to actually say, oh, there's that guy, he's an option. You would have never met him before. You would have never Facebooked him. You would have never Googled him. You would have asked your friends, and your friends would have referred you to the famous people. But the point of these chats is to democratize who gets the gig, who gets known, and the people that, it's a meritocracy. The people that show up and say, I'm going to contribute something to this, they're the people that are going to get the accolades when there is a job going around. People, oh, that person's great to work with, or yeah, I went to this chat once and there's this guy who did this thing. These types of things don't happen organically. We tend to rally around other stuff. We rally around like whatever, funny threads or congratulations, you got vaccinated threads, which are like totally dominating the Facebook AI at the moment. And that's totally cool. But there also has to be a space for this. This is the unglamorous back end of our culture, and we create it. We create this. This is what it is. Look around you. This is the Cape Town music industry that shows up for these things, for people. That there isn't anything else like this happening, you know. Concerts SA is doing a good job, but they're funded and sponsored, and it's very top down. What we're looking for is lateral ecosystem type of growth, like mycelial type of interconnectivity. So if any of you have any challenges or problems or things that you need answered or questions or whatever, and you think I might be able to contribute, then email me, get hold of me either, and I will do that. I will respond to you and I'll say yes, no, maybe, or here's a guy's number, you know. That's what this is all about. Yeah, man. Woo. Okay, time's up. See you guys. Thank you very much.
Guys.
Thank you for taking the time to contribute to this.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm amped for the next one. I think let's get on that kind of, for lack of a better word, like agenda-ish type of thing as well next time. And start throwing in some structured stuff, because I think that'd be cool. I think there's a lot that could be offered here. I'm definitely interested in other people's jewels, you know.
You have access to the sheet. I just want to show you what form response is in. This is the best place to send people if you are looking to share what this is about. I'm just going to put it at the top of people. Just give me a sec. There we go. Cool. There we go. Oops. There we go. Cool. This is how you share it. That link will take you to here, which gives you info on what this is and what it's about. And then there's a form here. All it is just literally give me your email. If you want, give me your phone number. I'm actually going to take that out. I don't need to be that complicated. Just send your email, and then that literally pops up directly over here. And then these people are the ones that expressed interest. So they're the ones that get the email when I send it out on usually the Monday before each one of these sessions. So if you want to share anything, share that link. That's obviously also my band site, full disclosure. Part of what I'm doing here is, you know, helping people, you know, showing people what I do as well, and like kind of trying to lead a bit. So yeah, there you go. Go ahead, or just tell them manually if you want to share it. That's how you do it. If not, then it is what it is, and it is as much value as it has been, and that's also fine. It doesn't have to scale infinitely. That's not the idea here.
Yeah.
I need to change my email in your spreadsheet as well, but it still works, so it's cool.
Which one is your ideal one, Ross?
It's just ross@yvp.co.za.
Okay, I'll change that now. Shot. Cool.
Okay,
dudes.
thanks, man.
I gotta go. I've done enough talking. This is my 4th hour on Zoom today. I'm doing all sorts of shit.
Well, okay, you got paid for the race, right? So
some of it, yeah. There's this other random dude at in Sweden.
Or was it OnlyFans, as Matt said?
I don't do OnlyFans, bro. I do no fans. All right, peace out, Herpes.
Cool, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, dudes. Good to see you all.
Sure, man. Enjoy the week. We'll see you in a couple.
Rock and roll, man.
Ladies, guys.